Hi guys, and welcome to my October plan with me. So as per usual, I start to plan the next month on my last week of the previous month. That way I can kind of get my head wrapped around some things. As you can see, I've gone ahead and penciled in my calendar. I'm going for a little bit of a different layout than usual this time, which I'm actually kind of excited about. So once everything is set up for the main month, then I have my first week of the month, because I don't care what day of the week it ends on, it has to be in the month it belongs to. So let's go ahead and jump into pre-planning and let's get started. As per usual, I am reverting back to my spread to plan my month's theme. This month, all I started with really was a piece of scrapbook paper. I went into this completely blind, but there was just something about these colors that were fun and interesting, but they were just pastel enough to really pass for like a fall kind of feeling rather than it being the golds and oranges and deep reds. So I thought I'd go for something a little different this October. I haven't really been following any true patterns like people normally do for October, which I actually kind of find refreshing. So with these colors, I have found that it's a very difficult green to match, but it's like a very pastel sage almost, which I love in and of itself, but it's just so hard to match a marker to. So I went through literally all of my greens until I found one that I was kind of happy with and just kind of went from there, worked with what I had. So I went into this basically blind. Like, yeah, I penciled everything out and I kind of filled some things in, but I just kind of jumped in. I didn't use a ruler like I normally do. I just went in with color, which is terrifying for me because normally I plan things out. I like my lines straight, but this month I decided to go for something a little more organic. As you can see, I have decided to keep my actual monthly view, but this month I decided to add in my classic 1 through 31, which is the Carol Ryder version of the bullet journal, just because I kind of miss that aspect. I've got the big calendar to mark major things like with stickers and grocery shopping and things like that, but I still have my dailies where I can flag actual events and write out appointment times and such, which I find the most useful in my journal. And here is where my scrapbook paper inspiration kind of came into play. I didn't really measure this out, I just kind of cut what was left from the corner piece that I cut for my sample for planning and just kind of ran with it. So sometimes you just kind of have to wing it, which I really did this month, which is very much unlike me, but I'm happy I played it this way because it's peaceful and calm and yet fall in its own little way. It came out really nice. As you saw on the last week of my September spread, I did decide to have a new budget take effect this month, and with that I have decided to separate it off of its own page and put it on with all of my calendar views. Now, I pay my bills as I get paid. I don't wait until they're due or pay them on separate days. As soon as I get my check, I send out all of my bills. So it doesn't really need its own separate page. Having its little section with the month is perfectly fine. So that way I can check them off as I go and it's not a whole page dedicated to money. As I've said, this scrapbook paper was my inspiration for this month, but I'll be honest, I actually kind of found it hard to really incorporate into the month. I like that I had a header up there, but actually writing over it was a little bit more of a challenge than I was expecting. But I think it came out pretty nice with the touch of blue and the little highlights of white. And then you guys know I have hordes of stickers that need to be used. So it may be a little sloppy for some people. It'll probably drive a lot of people's OCD a little crazy. But I don't know. I kind of like the haphazard, I did it really quick kind of feeling. It feels more usable. I don't feel afraid to touch it and mess it up with misspelling something or scratching something out, which is what your journal should be. You shouldn't be afraid to utilize it to its best ability and to improve your life. So as I've said, I pay my bills as I get paid, so instead of marking my paydays with a dollar sign, I decided to mark them with pay bills because, truth be told, that's all that happens on payday. So here I'm going in and marking Al's birthday, which is the 29th, and I actually forgot to go back in and add Amelia's, which is the 14th. She will be 2 this October. And she is my little fur baby, always will be. So then the next step is to check your future log, make sure there's no major things occurring in that month that you've marked previously. Here I'm just copying down the times for our kickball games, which we have usually every Wednesday. We just don't have one for the first Wednesday of this month. So that way I can kind of keep track of if I need to bring my stuff to work, because if we have early games, I go straight from work to the field. Otherwise, I have time to come home, kind of grab a snack, and then head back out. And then additionally, I went in and marked the weekends on my 1 through 31. That way it's a little bit easier to see the weeks at a time. And that way it's not completely blurred together, it's just one major month. So I've learned to be much more mindful with my paper scraps, just because, I don't know, make use of what you have, don't waste. So what I'm actually pasting down was a scrap from where I cut out my October banner. So I felt like it would be a good divider in between me planning what I'm going to be eating for the week versus my grocery list, just to kind of continue on that scrapbook paper throughout the month. And that way it feels more purposeful rather than haphazardly pasted in the beginning. I'm keeping my first week of October very simple. Not a lot happens the first week of any month, especially when there's only 3 days left in the week. I have month-end close at work, and I have to make sure I give Amelia her heart guard on the 1st. Other than that, not a lot happens these first couple of days, just because I'm rebooting from having to be at work so long on the 1st and kind of getting myself together for the month. So, again, not a lot happens. I keep things super simple this week just to kind of keep my mind at ease. And again, you know I have these stickers everywhere, so I'm putting them to use because, as you can see, my hand lettering isn't always the greatest. But that's okay. It's all about trial and error and perfecting over time. Work with what you've got. So normally I don't do quotes, but I came across one the day that I decided to do my plan with me, and it just really resonated me, so I decided to add it in. It is, "A woman who seeks to be equal with a man lacks ambition." Timothy Leary. And it just really sank with me. I've always been super ambitious, and I don't believe in gender roles or gender limitations. I feel like if you have the ambition, if you have the drive to do it, then do it. It doesn't matter who you are, what you came from. Put your mind to it and you can achieve it. So here is my final flip through of October. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys for next month. Bye!